Okay, joining me today is Miles Cohn. Miles, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I want to talk to Miles first. Happy New Year, Miles.
Yeah, you too. I'm excited for this year. This is gonna be fun for the both of us.
Yeah, 2026 is going to be a boatload of fun. I wanted to sort of introduce folks to you, Miles. I know that we met back in the fall, and immediately I think we felt aligned. A lot of common goals, a lot of similarities in terms of the outlook on the real estate market, both nationally and here in Austin. Miles has really been in real estate all of his adult life. He's a decade and a half. He's worked in two major markets, both Seattle and Austin. He started in the property management business. His family was in the commercial real estate business nationally, so he got his he got his feet wet early, sort of in the genes. He has been focusing on residential production for over a decade now, and is based here in Austin, and wanted to talk a little bit about kind of what he sees and how he intends to grow Miles Cohn Real Estate, and wanted to talk a little bit about his philosophy and how he sees the market moving here in Austin. So, Miles, why don't you just kind of take it and start riffing and talk a little bit about what you're seeing.
Yeah, the market has definitely been slower than previous years. I mean, my whole career, it's been crazy hot. Um, very buyer motivated market where there's been multiple offer situations, especially back in Seattle. But when I moved to Austin, same thing. But now, and that tends to, a good market tends to hide a lot of faults, a lot of it, and
Yes.
it adds a lot of agents to the market that not necessarily, shouldn't be there, but it's a lot easier to get into a hot market than a normal market, and it's restabilized and it's normalized now. So the thing that I thought of, and we both kind of hit off on when we first met, is you're developing this ENRG Texas, and here in Austin we kind of had like a similar idea of like growing a boutique agency
Yeah, for sure.
in Austin, and one that is really hands-on with the agents. And
Hmm.
I remember all the way back to Caldwell Banker when I first started in Seattle, that I hit the ground running, and it felt like Caldwell Banker was a great agency, and they're all great agencies, all great brokerages, but it didn't really give me the care and like the proper education that I needed to really be successful as a real estate agent. So um, I would love to have a bunch of young, hungry agents on my team that I can show them the way, and I can show them what I've learned, in these 10 plus years that I've been in the business. And I really want to help them through that year to 2 year hump that's so hard to get over in real
Yeah,
estate.
it is.
You basically have to run a small business by yourself, and it's all commission. There's no salary. So that's why 87% of agents have to renew their license and don't renew their license within the 2 years. So I want to help them through that. I want to find good agents who really want to make a name for themselves and help their clients, and show them the right way, to do it, and kind of give them a different model that any other, brokerage out there is offering.
Yeah. Well, what I think you're really talking about is a blueprint for
Hmm.
success for younger agents, and there
Yeah.
is absolutely a blueprint. What
Absolutely.
have you, and everybody's blueprint can be a little bit different, but how would you describe the blueprint that worked for you and the one that you think would work in the market that we're going to have in the next couple of years?
Yeah, so this is not the common answer. So, and I think that that's why a lot of agents aren't successful is because
Mm,
this is the boring answer to that question is
mm,
it's all numbers. It's a business at the end of the day. It is a people business for sure. You need to be good with people. You need to care about your clients and serve them well and have their best interest in mind. But at the end of the day, especially as a new agent, to get that database and that clientele under you so you have a predictable business, it's got to be based off of generating leads, converting those leads into clients, converting those clients into sales. It's as simple as that.
yeah,
And that's literally a formula. That's
it
literally
is.
numbers based off of different lead sources and those conversion rates of those lead sources. So
Absolutely.
it's hard to figure that out as a new agent because you don't have any data points to reference, right? And so
Mm,
I've been tracking data points for over a decade now, and I
yeah.
literally have a spreadsheet that I'll literally put each agent into and reverse engineer their income goals and tell them what they need to do on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, year-to-year basis to reach their goals.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, like even as far back as Gary Keller's book,
Mm-hmm.
the Millionaire
Totally.
Agent.
Yeah.
He talked a lot about the soft skills, about
Mm-hmm.
the touch points, but
Mm-hmm.
you've got to be able to quantify those touch points. And he
Yeah.
actually gives you the number, right?
Yeah.
He says
Yeah.
33 a year for a
Mm-hmm.
100-person database should yield 17 closings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure he didn't just, wing that. I'm pretty sure he had the data. And
Yeah.
who had a bigger data set than Gary Keller, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't take that with a grain of salt. There's got to be some validity there. And
Mm-hmm.
so there is a way to reverse engineer the success that you'd like to have, given you have some competence and skill level at executing.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. And I think any any agent who wants to be successful in this business, they can do it in any way that they want, really. But it has to be based off of numbers that are predictable. Like you can't like you said, the 33 data points isn't just a made up thing. That's something that he was researched and trial and error and got to that number. Like that's the foundation of every agent's business, in my
Right.
opinion, and that's successful, that's sustainable, and it's predictable. So, an agent can be literally an introvert or an extrovert. It doesn't matter. But the similarity that they need to have in order to have that successful small business of theirs, it's not just a job, it's a small business that they're running, is those numbers and understanding what it takes to reach your goals.
Yeah, I think in if you break it down on a daily basis, which is really all we can do, is what we're doing on a daily basis and
Hmm.
being
Hmm.
accountable to that. If you
Yeah.
break down Gary's touch points, that's only 9 touch points a day for a
Hmm.
100-person database is
Hmm.
17 closings.
Yeah.
Well, 17 closings in this market is $250,000 in gross commission.
Yeah. I
That
mean, anything over 10 for a new agent is fantastic. 17 would be
100%.
killing.
So
Yeah.
all you've got to do is be accountable to your numbers
Hmm.
and be consistent.
Hmm. And that's where a coach comes in. Like
Right.
we all know that doing something consistently for a short amount of time in an aerial view, bird's eye view, seems very easy to do, right?
Hmm.
But you said 9 contacts. That's so easy to do if you think about it in a time format, over the course of a whole day. That's so easy to do, right? But the
Absolutely.
hard part is the consistency, right?
Yes.
So that's where a coach comes in. That's where I kind of want to be the mentor to all these younger agents and keep them accountable. And, I'm not going to tell them what to do, but like I'll literally be their coach and make sure they're on track and make sure that other agents within that team um are supporting them, and we have that supportive culture to motivate and to hold each other accountable. I think that's what a team is at the end of the day, you know.
If you,
So that's what I want to develop. Exactly. Yeah.
I believe if you don't have a real mentor,
Hmm.
someone that you have an interactive relationship with,
Hmm.
on a regular basis, doesn't have to be every day, but it's got to be somewhat frequent,
Yeah.
then I don't know how you succeed in this business. I think
Yeah.
you've got to have a mentor
I mean,
starting
it's
out.
the expedited process to be successful in anything you do. Like, why not just copy someone who's already done it successfully? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
why? Like, it's so much easier. Like, instead of figuring it out on your own. And yeah, I didn't have that support from the brokerages that I need. So earlier in my career, I went and sought out those different mentors, and they were agents. They were successful. One in my office was extremely successful. He was doing like 50 buyer's agent deals
Wow.
a year just by himself. Like, he
Wow.
was killing it in Seattle.
Yeah.
And then when I changed brokerages, I found another one, and he was in the top 50 in all of Washington.
Mm,
And then when I moved here, I found a great guy who knew the area really well, because I didn't know the area very well.
yeah.
And he was giving me his open houses and all that. So I mean, yeah, along the way, I've actually found those mentors. But that's something I had to reach out and go find. And it took a long time to find those people, the ones that connect with me. So I kind of want to do the opposite way, where I'm finding these agents that are struggling. And through that natural connection, they'll hopefully come on my team, and hopefully I can help them be successful.
Yeah, I think that's one of the only ways to succeed, and you can always develop your own style, right?
Hmm.
As an
Oh,
agent, you're going to find things that you're good at, or things that are effective, or both, hopefully.
hmm.
But starting with that really specific framework gives you the basics and
Yep.
gives you a base and a foundation to then go ahead and develop your style. It's not unlike training for athletics or any other, sport or endeavor. You need to get the
Mhm.
basics, and if you don't have the basics from the
The
beginning,
fundamentals.
it's
Mhm.
rough. It's rough.
Yeah, it is.
So
It's just inefficient. You're
it
just
is
you're
inefficient.
you're wasting your time, really.
It does take longer without a mentor. There's no question about it. Drilling
Hmm.
down into kind of the components of what you see in the new agent blueprint, uh, that uh, that you've developed.
So yeah, I mean, as an agent comes in, if they say, "Hey, yeah, let's do it. Let's work together. I'd love to join your team." I'd sit down with them first and understand what they want to do in the business, like who they want to be,
Hmm.
who they are as a person, what they want to focus on, if they have a niche that they want to focus on, um, what their voice is in the market, how they want to market themselves, all these things that's custom to that person, right? And then
Their kind of personal positioning.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like you said before, we're all different, like we're all different. So I don't want to be a guy who's going to say, like, you need to fit this model or
Right.
else, like everyone's different. So I want to start there. I want to start with what makes you you, what makes you authentic. And then I want to grow that
Yeah.
through, through basically through numbers, like through just telling them, like, you know, we figured out what your voice is in the market and how to differentiate yourself.
Hmm.
And then we figure out, okay, how much money do you want to make, or how many clients you want to help, however you see it.
Hmm.
I like to see how many clients I like to help. I think that that's more service oriented, and a little less selfish, a little less having the agenda for selling
Certainly.
instead of
Yeah.
actually serving
Clients helped is a
clients.
great metric.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we basically figure that out to a measurable point, whatever that
Mm.
is,
Okay.
and then we reverse engineer that. So we say, I want to make $100,000 a year, or I want to help 10 clients buy or sell a home this year, and we say, okay, what's that going to take? And then we literally reverse engineer it from down to month, week to week, day to day, activities and how to grow the other areas of their business at the same time,
Yeah.
but with the focus of generating those leads to convert to clients, to convert to sales, because that's at the end of the day what's going to keep you in this business. That's
Yeah.
what's going to
Staying
earn a
power.
living as
Right.
a real estate agent. So that, in a nutshell, is what it is. But I mean, those five things I said before, it's prospecting, it's marketing, it's follow up, it's education and research, and it's client needs. So all of those different aspects I would grow and customize around that specific agent and their goals.
So
Yeah.
one of the things that I've heard you say in the past when we've had discussions, and one thing you alluded to when you were describing client needs was that need for research and understanding your market. You've got
hmm
to know that. And I don't know that we are focusing enough on neighborhood expertise to truly serve our clients. What would you say to that?
I agree. And the threat is that clients are actually using, they have been using for the past decade now, search engines like Zillow and Redfin. And so it's not the traditional real estate agent anymore as a real estate agent. Like, your clients sometimes, if you don't know your stuff, you don't know the market, your clients will actually know about certain neighborhoods or certain
No more than you do.
houses
Yeah.
because they have the source out there exposure, like they can actually look it up themselves. And then with AI, it's going to get even more and more like that. So the job of a real estate agent, I mean, is there's so many different aspects to it, which is one of the reasons why I want to expedite all those other ones for them so they can focus on the most important thing, which is client needs and, knowing your market, knowing specific streets, knowing like neighbors, knowing like, oh, I sold them that home, or like I talked to them over there like a year ago. They said this neighborhood was good in this way, was bad in this way. Like having all that inside knowledge that is based off of true market research and knowing people and talking to people and understanding what's going on in each neighborhood, or if a house has a specific material that isn't good for the house or
Yeah.
is going to have a certain timeline, like all these different things, that takes time. And,
It,
that's something that you really need to practice and focus on, because at the end of the day, the most important thing that you can do as a real estate agent is help your clients, right? And
I,
so provide information that they can't get elsewhere.
yeah, I think that the difference between good agents and great agents are two things. Number one, insider information.
hmm
You know, as we've seen from
hmm
the stock market, a lot of the best trades are made with insider information. And then the experience. And when you combine those two, if they don't have the experience, then they better have the insider information.
hmm
So they
Yeah.
can demonstrate expertise that can't just be found with a Google search or a chat GPT prompt.
Yep. Yep.
You need that boots on the ground information to be able to prove value for what you're providing to your client.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, as a new agent, I remember working like at least 80 hours a week, like when I was first starting, because I had to figure out all that on the spot.
Yeah.
And I remember doing client tours, and I'd have 5 houses on the tour date. It would be a Saturday. And then I'd go on Thursday or Friday and go look at all those houses before I even showed them. And I'd call the listing agents and figure out everything about each house and memorize it, and then try to get information that my clients wouldn't be able to get and that I could provide value to about the neighborhood, about the HOA, about whatever it is that I could provide, and know that off the top of my head. And that takes a lot of time. Like, I mean, that's why I was working overtime. So I think it's so important going back, not to keep selling myself, but like going back to like really having a team lead or a brokerage that really expedites all the other stuff for you.
Yeah.
Because if you can focus on the market knowledge you're gonna have clients waiting at your door to work with you. Like they're gonna hear about that from their friends, from their family. They're gonna hear like, oh, Miles, he knew everything about the home. He made
Yeah.
it so easy for us. We didn't have to do anything. Like he truly earned his commission that we
In
didn't even have to for actually.
in
The
this
seller had
age
to.
where yeah, in this age where all this baseline information
Mhm,
is, the level of baseline information has increased exponentially.
mhm,
It's really going to take that insider guerrilla knowledge that you develop by working a neighborhood uh, to really show, hey, here's what I'm doing to earn my comp.
mhm.
It's going to be necessary. So back to let's
Can I
jump.
add one thing that's funny real
Yeah,
quick?
sure, absolutely.
Um, so I think yesterday, it was either yesterday or the day before, I literally asked ChatGPT what is going to make a real estate agent last in 5 to 10 years. And what ChatGPT said is that we are going to AI is going to take over a lot of what a real estate agent adds.
Yeah.
And the real estate agents that are going to last, it basically said that it's going to come down to specialization, which means they specialize in a certain amount of knowledge that AI won't be able to provide. So that's
Either
exactly what I'm talking about. Literally, AI is telling us now what we need to do in the future to
yeah,
survive and see.
it literally told us that
Yeah.
could be geographic specialization, which neighborhoods that we've talked about. It could be buyer type or
Hmm.
seller client type, you know.
Hmm.
It could be property specialization,
Hmm.
apartments, duplexes, condos, estate property, etc. But you're gonna have to specialize. You
Yeah.
you, you
But
got to
you're
kind
gonna
of
want.
you're gonna have to kind of pick a lane.
Yeah, yeah. And what's great as a real estate agent, what's great is having the freedom to pick whatever you want and
Yeah,
do whatever you do, which is exactly why the first thing that I'm going to do with all my agents is sit them down and ask them, what do you want to do? What do you want to specialize in? Because that's what's going to keep them up. That's what's going to keep them going and like wake them up in the morning. And like, that's their why. So if we figure out each agent's why, and then they can specialize in that. Just like, you and I love golf, just like you and I love real estate. Like we get up in the morning and we want to go do these things because we're
yeah,
passionate about that. So I
yeah.
think figuring that out as an agent and then specializing that and becoming so good that no one else is as good as you, you're gonna win.
I
You're
think
gonna win.
it's kind of like college, where just the first year or two, you're kind of just trying
Yeah.
to elevate your traditional knowledge.
Hmm.
But in years 3 or 4, you got to declare a major.
Hmm.
And if you don't declare a major and specialize, your value in the marketplace is much less. Do I
Hmm.
want a general studies grad, or do I want somebody that is a PPA and did 5 years worth of CPA work or accounting work before they got their CPA designation?
Hmm.
It's an easy choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
know that our industry is much different, but I don't know that people have thought about it necessarily that way.
They don't, and I think it's because they're thrown in and they have to do everything at once. So like I
Interesting.
said, they don't have, just like agents hold clients' hands, you know, we need to have brokerages holding agents' hands. And
Yeah.
the bigger the brokerage, the less hand holding there is because they're just another number. There's thousands of agents at certain brokerages. And that's great for them. It's a different business model, but that's not the one that I want to I want to follow with my agents. I mean,
Yeah.
like the agents that I help, like it's gotta be it's gotta be a handholding process for that first year or two
Yeah.
years until they figure it out, until they like get some ground, under their feet and they can actually have a client base to go off of. Because if they're doing everything, they're only gonna do everything maybe 10% right. And if
Yeah.
they can save on four things and do the client need part right from the get-go, and have that boutique brokerage like us or a good team like me, um, really help them with all those other things and expedite that amount of time for them, that's a game changer. It really is.
Oh, that's a great point. Uh, so lastly, let's just wrap up with kind of how you see the marketing and the prospecting working for a new agent that's looking to excel in the next couple of market years.
Yeah, I think we live in a digital age now. You and I have talked about this. I think podcasting is extremely important. I think, obviously video marketing, which podcasting is included in that. I think getting yourself out to the masses through everything that we have, the phone, like
Yeah.
every person has a computer in their pocket now that they are
Yeah.
always looking at, right? So
Yeah.
like, in this day and age, it's not cold calls, it's not door knocking as much. It's just not as efficient as being on Instagram or being on TikTok or being on YouTube, where, if someone's interested in real estate and they want to start the process of buying or selling a home, you're in front of their face helping them do that.
That's where you start.
So yeah, I think that's in this day and age, you kind of have to be a specialist if you want to do really well and you really want to generate leads. Which again, my team and ENRG Real Estate will help people out with. Like we want to stay ahead of the game on that.
Yeah, no question about that. Well, Miles, thank you so much. I learned a little bit about you and your philosophy, even more than I already knew. And much success to you in 2026.
Yeah, you too. And thanks for having me on. This is gonna be a fun year. I feel it. This is gonna be cool.
I think so too. Okay, take care,
Yeah.
Miles. Thank you.
All right, see ya.